CBS News senior national security contributor Michael Morell was deputy director and acting director of the CIA. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Anthony.
The Defense Department, Michael, is saying that we're not seeking conflict with Iran. So what message are we sending by sending 1,000 troops to the Middle East?
Anthony, I think we're sending the message that we're going to defend our interests. And I actually think this step is prudent. As David Martin told us earlier in the program, the job of these additional forces is going to be increased surveillance, watching the Iranians, and it's going to be to defend U.S. forces and U.S. military bases. So I think it makes sense from both a message perspective and a defense of our forces perspective.
Michael, this comes as Iran is increasing its nuclear enrichment. One U.S. official called this nuclear blackmail. Is that how you see it?
So this is a step by the Iranians to put additional pressure on the international community to push us to stop our maximum pressure campaign. That's what they tried to do last week with the attack on the ships. That's what they're trying to do now by taking one step away from the nuclear agreement. They are under severe pressure from sanctions. They want that to stop, and this is the course that they've chosen. I think it's really important to note, Adriana, that they are still a long way. Even if they break this threshold for low-enriched uranium, they're a long way away from a nuclear weapon. So we are not on the verge of a nuclear crisis here. That would be at least a year away.
Michael, what do you think of the intelligence released by the U.S. Allegedly showing Iran placing or at least removing a mine on the hull of one of these tankers? Does that support Mike Pompeo and President Trump's position that Iran is definitely behind these attacks?
Tony, I think so. I was persuaded by the high-resolution photographs. I was persuaded by the timeline that the administration released yesterday. I was persuaded last Thursday by the Secretary of State's strong statement. And most importantly, I was persuaded on Sunday on Face the Nation when Adam Schiff, the ranking Democrat of the House Intelligence Committee, told Margaret Brennan that the evidence that the Iranians are behind this is strong. And Adam is no fan of the administration. So the fact that he has seen the intelligence and says it's strong is convincing to me.
Michael, when you're talking about this area of the world, grainy photos allegedly showing something, a lot of people, their mind is cast back to 2002, 2003, the run-up to Iraq. Are our allies punishing us today for mistakes apparently made way back then?
So I think there are three issues, Tony. One is the Iraq issue, right? It's going to take a long time before that gets out of people's memory. The second issue is that this administration, let's face it, says falsehoods every day, particularly out of the White House, and that has undermined our credibility, so we have to overcome that. But perhaps most important are the other nations of the world, including our allies and partners, actually blame us for the situation that we're in today. They blame us for pulling out of the nuclear deal and creating this crisis. So when you put all three of those together, that's why they're responding the way they are to what happened last week.
So how close, Michael, do you think we are actually to a conflict with Iran here?
So I believe that neither country at this point wants war. Iran doesn't want it. President Trump doesn't want it. The United States doesn't want it. I think that could change if they get close to a nuclear weapon. But as I said earlier, that's a year away. I think the risk of conflict right now would be by miscalculation. If the Iranians miscalculate and were to attack a U.S. military base or a U.S. embassy and actually kill Americans, I think we'd be in a different place. Or if the Saudis or the Emiratis were to respond and attack Iran, I think we'd be in a different place. So miscalculation could bring us to conflict.
All right, Michael Morell for us. Michael, thank you very much.